As the first golden rays of dawn kissed the horizon, the village of Obili slowly awakened from its nightly slumber. The air was thick with the scent of wet earth and fresh leaves after the early morning mist had settled. The distant crowing of a rooster cut through the quiet, while the soft hum of women singing accompanied the rhythmic pounding of millet in large wooden mortars. Children's laughter echoed faintly, though not from Kemi's corner of the village. Kemi's bare feet pressed softly against the warm, cracked earth as she made her way along the winding path toward the river now. The path was lined with dense bushes of hibiscus and tall grasses, their dew still shimmering like tiny diamonds in the emerging light. Her gaze often drifted toward the river's churning waters, where shadows of crocodiles slipped beneath the surface, reminding her of her mother's last moments. The village was alive with tradition. Elder women in colorful wrappers and beads moved with practiced grace, preparing the day's meals over open fires. The scent of smoked fish and spicy pepper mixed with the fragrant smoke of burning wood. The towering baobab trees stood like ancient guardians, their broad trunks etched with deep grooves and symbols, telling stories of generations past. Though Kemi was part of this land, she felt like a ghost in her own home. Other children avoided her. Mothers whispered behind their hands. The stories told about her mother, once a revered priestess, were now tangled with fear and suspicion. Kemi's faded cloth dress hung loosely over her slender frame, its threads worn but still embroidered with delicate patterns her mother had sewn. She often clutched a small carved wooden bird, her only keepsake. That morning, a cool breeze rustled the leaves as Kemi wandered near the riverbanks, her fingers tracing the worn stones. Suddenly, her hand brushed against something hard buried in the mud, a small black shell, polished smooth by time and water. She wiped it gently on her skirt, revealing intricate spiral carvings that seemed to shimmer faintly under the sun. The shell was unlike anything she had seen. It seemed to hum softly, a vibration she felt deep in her bones. As she held it, a flood of memories, hazy and fragmented, whispered through her mind. Her mother's gentle voice, the scent of incense and palm oil, and the feeling of being watched by unseen eyes. That night, Kemi's dreams were vivid and haunting. She stood on the banks of a dark river that stretched infinitely, water reflecting countless stars. Her mother appeared, glowing softly, her dreadlocks floating like tendrils of smoke. Kemiola, she whispered, the full name given only to those chosen by the ancestors. You carry our blood and our spirit. Back in the village, strange signs unsettled the people. The rooster crowed at twilight, breaking natural rhythms. The sacred baobab's leaves curled inward, an unnatural sign. When Kemi passed the marketplace, an old woman gasped and clutched her heart, muttering prayers. Whispers spread, the child passer, a bridge between the living and the dead, walking among them. Adama's harshness intensified. She scattered salt and bitter herbs around the hut, hanging protective amulets carved from bone and ebony. Kemi's only refuge was the quiet night, and a gentle breeze seemed to carry her mother's voice, urging her to be strong and embrace her destiny. The night of the red moon arrived like a storm of fire. The sky burned a deep scarlet, casting an eerie glow over the village. Around the sacred Iroko tree, villagers gathered in silence, their faces solemn and expectant. Elders dressed in flowing white robes embroidered with gold trimmed the clearing, arranging sacred herbs, incense, and carved talismans. Kemi wore a pale gold cloth wrapped around her shoulders, the fabric of souls gifted by Baba Jao. His voice was low and steady as he handed her a calabash filled with clear water from the sacred spring, a symbol of purification. The air buzzed with unseen energy as the villagers formed a circle, chanting in a language as old as the land itself. Kemi's heart pounded, but her hands were steady as she touched the rough bark of the iroko tree. A cool pulse ran through her fingertips, and a soft blue light emerged, weaving through the branches like ethereal smoke. Ghostly faces appeared among the leaves. Ancestors who had long watched over Obela, now awakened by Kemi's call. Then her mother's voice echoed clearly in the stillness. "It is not you who were betrayed, but the truth." The crowd gasped. Kemi's voice rang out, telling of a broken pact, a sacred ritual stolen by fear and jealousy. She revealed the black shell, now glowing faintly, and with a crack like thunder, the iroko tree's bark split open, revealing the necklace of white pearls, the sacred heirloom of her mother. Adama collapsed, tears mingling with dust on her face, overwhelmed by shame and revelation. The village was silent except for the distant beat of a lone drum, signaling both an ending and a new beginning. Kemi stood tall, no longer a frightened girl, but a bridge between worlds, offering healing rather than vengeance. Dawn broke over a changed Obele. The air was heavy, but filled with quiet hope. The elders gathered beneath the baobab, voices grave as they pronounced judgment. Adanma, bound with a sacred cotton thread for her betrayal, was sent into exile to the distant monastery of Atakpame, where she would seek atonement in silence and prayer. The villagers watched, some with relief, others with sorrow. Kemi approached Adanma calmly, offering forgiveness rather than anger. The gesture was unexpected, a powerful sign that bitterness could be replaced by understanding. Kemi transformed her mother's old heart into the Aho Ibi, a place of memory and learning. Children gathered there to listen to stories whispered by the winds, learning the ancient rites and the deeper meanings behind them, the heartbeat of their culture and identity. Under the soft morning sun, the iroko tree bloomed for the first time since Mawusi's death. Delicate white flowers showered the village, a symbol of renewal and the healing power of truth. One evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the sky in shades of amber and rose, Kemi sat beneath the blossoming iroko. The black shell rested gently at the roots, glowing faintly in the twilight. The warm breeze carried distant drum beats, soft and steady. Kemi traced a circle in the red earth with her finger and whispered a truth she had come to understand deeply. What we bury deep within always grows. What we try to silence finds its voice in time. It is often the forgotten children who hold the roots of the world. The leaves of the iroko rustled in gentle agreement, and a peaceful smile crossed Kemi's face. She was no longer seeking acceptance. She was rooted deeply in truth, forgiveness, and love.